Many thanks for joining us again today. My name is Dakbo Aruajoye. We thought we should continue with what we started on Friday, and that's talking about the fight against corruption. You may recall on Friday we talked about why is it that the Senate couldn't confirm, in quote, the acting chairman, of the EFCC, but to be the final, to be the substantive chairman of the organization. And today we'll take a look at that also, and we'll also take a look at the reason or what is happening between the Senate and also Babachir Lawal, that's the Secretary of the Federation. And again, the papers today are saying Buhari orders AGF to probe SGF, Lawal, and others. That's where we should be pitching our tent today. And to help us do the discussion, I have Mr. Debo Adeniro, better still, Comrade Debo Adeniro, Executive Chair, Coalition Against Corrupt Ladies, CACO. Thank you very much for joining us, Comrade.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
All right, then. Let me get your vibe, or let me get your pulse on the fight against corruption so far. Some people are saying the president he's moving ahead, he's keeping to his promise, talking about fighting corruption to a standstill. What is your own take on that?
Thank you very much. I agree with that school of thought that the president is doing his best to fight the monster called corruption to a standstill. Just that it's working maybe as a lone ranger, it's like a sheep in the pack of wolves. We only believe that is the cooperation of Nigerians that will make him succeed in the fight against corruption the way he has been going on. Now, you remember that it was his antecedent as the military head of state that actually got him endeared into the minds of the people. Hitherto, he had made attempts to become president of Nigeria, but because Nigerians were still deceived, they were still living under the illusion that a military man might not be able to blend well into the civil discipline, and that is civilian discipline. And that is the reason why he could have been rejected in the earlier 3 or so attempts that he made to become. But it got to a stage when Nigerians realized that, look, corruption is destroying every facet of our national life, of our economy, to the extent that people saw corruption on the faces of people who are involved in it. And they saw poverty at the other end of the economy, to the extent that people can no longer feed themselves once daily. And several children are dying of preventable causes like hunger, preventable diseases, like even in ignorance. Schools are collapsing, hospitals are collapsing, roads became, so dilapidated that even the ruling class are no longer riding on the road. They fly in the air because everything has collapsed. Go to the eastern part of the country, go to the southern part of the country, the story are the same. So basically, people saw corruption in its nakedness and they became scared. That is why they were looking for a president who would be a savior. A savior, and who had the pedigree to save them. That is why they went for Buhari. And Buhari latched on that to climb to the pinnacle of that career. But
and is he living up to expectation?
Let me tell you, there is living as a Buhari is living up to that expectation, to the extent that he has shown everything to tell us, to convince us that he's determined, by his action, by his deed, by his dispositions, that he's ready to fight that.
For example,
he has caused several people who are supposedly closer to him in his constituency, military. Look at several military officers that he has retired and are put under investigation or trial. Even the judiciary that he has been able to pry into, nobody dare stepped on such tools hitherto. He knew, he has begged them. He started by begging the judiciary, please help me in this fight, because if you don't help me, I'm not likely to succeed. Now, they didn't yield to that plea, and he bare his fangs that, look, you are not untouchable. He has reached into the executive itself, and he has reached everywhere. Those that are hitherto seen to be living a larger-than-life kind of, he brought them under check. So,
but the opposition would not.
but let me tell
the
you,
opposition
no,
will say
even
that
not,
it's just
let,
a
don't let us, don't
smoke
let,
screen.
don't let us go into the opposition. Even those in the same ruling party, with them, several of them do not want the fight against corruption to succeed. Why? Because of the skeletons they have in their own cupboard. And they know that the way Buhari is going is not going to leave any stone unturned. He's only been methodical. That's why he started where he started. Whether we like it or not, the Senate president is a member of the ruling party. And the Senate president is not, didn't enjoy the kind of respect that he thought he would enjoy from the same federal government. And that is why he had to oscillate between the criminal, witness box in the CCT, that's the Code of Conduct Tribunal, and the asserted position of the Senate presidency, and being doubled as the chairman of the National Assembly.
Comrade, people will argue is because Saraki, which is the Senate president, wasn't in the good books of the presidency or the APC. That was why he was allegedly he was being witch hunted.
Why is it that he is not in the good book of the presidency? If anybody will tell me, it is because of the same thing we are talking about, corruption. Okay, he has been alleged to have crippled a whole bank, Society Generale Bank, okay, by his what do you call it? It's a avaricious kind of accumulation.
Why
Took money and all that.
You know why I said it wasn't in the good books of the president was because it became the Senate president instead of Lawan.
It is not because of that. The reason why the president didn't want him to become the Senate president is also the reason why they don't want Magu to become the president. But they have been able to prove that he actually got involved in several corruption cases. One of it being the declaration of the assets upon which the CCT is trying him. He has a case with the Faith Bank Tribunal. The wife also has a case with the same EFCC. So it is the reason why they are not working in synergy is because he has cases to answer. The president didn't want somebody who is tainted by corruption, allegations to be on that assaulted office. That is why they are opposing each other. Now, this interagency rivalry also is there. Look at the executive and legislature.
Yes.
They are rivaling each other. And that is unnecessary because they are expected to work in synergy. There should be cooperative endeavor.
Is that why Magu is being treated the way he's being treated today?
Magu's case is even different. It is not directly because of it. Actually, the National Assembly generally and the Senate in particular doesn't want a no-nonsense man as the helmsman on the most referred anti-corruption agency in Nigeria. They wanted somebody they can easily manipulate. Remember when Toyin Saraki was invited by the EFCC? Several members of the Senate, led by my friend Dino Melaye, actually went to play the bodyguard with the wife of their president. The reason why they were there was with a view to intimidating the EFCC to drop to drop the investigation they are carrying out on the wife of their president. But they didn't succeed. That they didn't succeed, they saw it as a slap on their faces. They saw it as a disgrace meted out to them, on them by the same Magu.
There are lots of allegations.
There are a lot of allegations.
But we'll talk about those allegations. That's after this short break, okay?
Okay.
Stay with us, please. Welcome back. We're still on the fight against corruption, and so far we want to try and find out if the president is doing enough, and is the is the legislative arm of the government even helping the president to fight this corruption. And I still have Debo Adeniro, executive chair, Kako, Thank you very much for staying tuned.
Yeah.
Okay, before we went on break, you were saying
Yes.
it seems that Magu is being frustrated by the Senate. But what about these allegations that Magu is staying in a house that even his salary cannot even afford? He flies or he flew a first class once. And also again, Magu had official document while he was, I think was superintendent of the police then. He had the official document in his house, which were meant to be in the office. What about these allegations? Do you want to say something about it?
Thank you very much. You are in studio. You don't have, I mean, obviously you don't have the money to establish this studio.
Yes.
But you are there. Okay? Could anybody accuse you of living ostentatious life by that? That having ostentatious workplace? All of those head of agencies are provided for in the Federal Capital Territory. They don't have to know how much the place provided for them cost. But Magu has provided receipts of of the rents and the furnishing of the house of the residence he was allocated in FCT by the FCT minister. It was not paid for by the EFCC. It was not paid for by Magu. Okay, so what is his offense? The rule is that every one of them must be put in residencies that is safe, enough to shield them from those who may want to attack them unnecessarily because of the nature of the job they are doing. So I don't know why that became his own problem. I mean, then he has said, I'm not his mouthpiece.
And they said the person that owns that edifice is living, is under investigation.
He's not the one who rented that apartment. It wasn't Magu who rented the apartment. So it couldn't have been his fault. Two is that there are occasions when the pressure of work is such that there's hardly any senior staff anywhere. Go to the office, the PSs, that is permanent secretaries, and even commissioners, ministers, they took jobs home. The only thing that make it become criminal is if the intent is to hide this document from other officers in the office that have something or the other to do on it.
Okay.
But he said that he took it home in his office bag, okay, because he needed to work on it at home. That was it. And when they asked for it, they saw it not under any enclosure where anybody could have found it. He was still in service.
But that was, during
that period.
That was a problem that was a major problem Madam Clinton had.
Well, if
doing something official on a personal computer.
On an official house. In an official house. It's an extension of his office, if you ask me. But it doesn't matter. That shouldn't have constituted a crime. If it has not been proven that he actually stole those files, okay, there is a way by which you can prove it that, you are trying to hide these files away from the prime house of the other officers.
Okay.
But when he came out of the thing, he was promoted.
Okay.
So if he was guilty, would he have been promoted?
Okay.
Then I told you that if somebody flew first class, I don't know. If there are occasions when you just want to spoil yourself when you can afford it. It is not from government. The rule is that don't fly first class with government money, not with personal money or a gift from somewhere. I will tell you, I flew first class from Lagos to Maiduguri, not for a fault of mine. It was the airline that overbooked. Okay, they say it's free sitting. And I didn't get a sitting space. And I told them, look, I'm not getting down because I have something doing in Maiduguri. So and I cannot hang like I was in Molwe. So they provided a space for me in the first class. Okay. And I enjoy first class treatment.
Okay. Let me cancel Ibrahim Magu now from this discussion. Yeah. Let's go to some other ones that I saw in the paper today. They're talking about the Chief of Staff, Abba Kyari.
That's right.
Babachir Lawal, David, and also Major General Toko Buratai. Let's talk about Babachir Lawal. Babachir Lawal, the report of the ad hoc committee on humanitarian crisis in the northeast, which Shehu Sani is heading,
That's right.
has indicted Babachir Lawal. It said 1.3 billion meant for IDPs for the presidential initiative
Yeah.
on the Northeast. They cannot account for that one. A lot of money has been spent providing help for the IDPs. They cannot account for it. And they discovered that Roller Vision Engineering Limited, an ICT company, was paid 220 million naira to cut grass of 115 hectares for just 220 million naira. And Babachir Lawal's name has been found. He is part of the directors of that company. Though, according to him, he said he resigned, he resigned his position. But what do you have to say to that? Though he has said the Senate is talking balderdash. Do you think the Senate is talking balderdash?
Well, what we believe, apart from being anti-corruption activists, we are also human rights activists, is to give opportunity for fair hearing. First, one of our arguments is that Magu was not given fair hearing. Even when he was invited to the Senate, they told him that there were reports from the DSS, the DG of DSS is a member of EFCC. They didn't give him opportunity to explain himself, either at the board meeting of EFCC, to which the DG of NIA and DSS were part of. Why wouldn't they give him opportunity to defend himself? If Babachir has committed all of these offenses, what they needed to do is to invite him.
But they said they said they invited
him.
him.
If they invited him, they have the powers. The National Assembly has the powers to get the police to arrest him for interrogation. He doesn't have immunity. Okay, so why didn't they, exercise that power to get the IG of police after him and get him arrested?
Instead of going to the papers.
Instead of them going to the papers. One thing I discover from our political class people is that they enjoy it when the media carry their own stories the way they wanted it. But if the other way around, they will say newspaper trial, media trial, and the rest of them. All of these who are crying media trial, they enjoy media defense. Now, all of they have the powers they have no exercise. They utilize their discretions wrongly most of the time. They do everything to show that it is only their interest that they are concerned about. That is why they have not utilized that opportunity. We, at the level of Coalition Against Corrupt Leaders, we had called on all the authorities that are concerned to investigate Babachir Lawal, to discover the treason or otherwise to prove the veracity of the allegations. If it is against him, if it is proven that he actually committed those offenses, he should be taken as somebody who has committed crimes against humanity, because he multiplied the misery of those who are in the IDP camp.
And you think that's the pulse of the president also?
It is my own problem is that there are so many people around the president himself, apart from in the National Assembly, that doesn't want the fight against corruption to succeed.
Even in his own administration.
He might not have the information because there are sabotage within, there are sabotage without. There are so many people who have baggages of corruption hanging on their neck. One of his ministers was asked during the screening, he was a former governor. They asked him, Mr. Governor, are you corrupt? He said, I don't sign checks. And the National Assembly applauded him for that.
You're saying that's Fashola you're talking about, right?
That is the former governor of Lagos State, Babatunde Raji Fashola, who was accused, we accused him, that is Kako, accused him of upgrading a website that belongs to him personally for a cost that is more than 78 million naira.
But you mentioned Kako now.
Yeah.
Don't you have, because now they indicted what's it called, Amechi also, the former governor of Rivers State.
Yes.
And they indicted Fashola. Kako, don't you have you said you.
Okay, go on.
Don't you have the power? Don't you have the power apart from indicting these people? Can't you take them before the EFCC? Because I think it's only reports that get to EFCC. EFCC act upon. What is it that you've done as an organization to take these people before the law?
It means that you are not following us.
I do, but you need to tell us.
We didn't indict Amechi because we didn't have. For those who are occupying the position of authority in Rivers State, we asked them to provide us with the evidence that he committed all those offenses. They didn't provide it. But for Lagos, we had the evidence, and even Fashola himself, accentuated it in his response. Why abusing us? He tried to justify the use of 78 million naira on upgrading of a website. So that is a way of confirming our allegation. But we don't have prosecutorial powers. We can only write petitions, and petitions we have written more than 5 to the EFCC, to the presidency. As a matter of fact, we advise the president, this man is not as clean as he projected himself to be. He's not as clean as he has misused, manipulated the media to project him.
But the man has been out of the office now.
He
doesn't have immunity now.
He doesn't. That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm going. It is not, we don't have also the authority to compare the anti-corruption agencies to do the work. When we ask them, okay, they will tell us that the investigation is going on. We cannot predetermine how long their investigation should take.
Relax.
For example,
can you leave that example, please? Don't forget, we'll start the next half with the for example, because we need to go on yet another short break. And when we'll come back, the discussion continues. Don't go anywhere, please. Welcome back. I did interrupt Debo Adeniro to go on that short break. He's the executive chair, Coalition Against Corrupt Leaders. And the question I asked them was, what have you done as an organization to see that these corrupt leaders are right behind the bars? And you said, for example, that's where we stopped.
I said we didn't have prosecutorial powers, and we still don't have authority to compel agencies to investigate or try anybody. Just what we could do is what we are doing. And when they are not doing it well, we even march on the streets to compel them to do it. But for example, we marched on the EFCC November 14, 2007. That is at the exit of Olusegun Obasanjo's.
Okay. When we stay at Nuhu Ribadu, right?
Well, we have Nuhu Ribadu. So we went there with a petition documenting all what we consider to be corruption allegations against the former president. The EFCC under Ribadu didn't do anything about it. When Madam Farida Waziri came in, she made a speech where she said that she didn't have any petition against the former president with her. We did another street march to submit a copy of what we submitted the earlier year to the same office. Luckily, it's the same person, Sanda, that collected the first petition that collected the replica. She promised there and then that she was going to do the needful. She did. She actually set up a 5-man panel within the EFCC to do preliminary investigation with promise there and then that she was going to do the needful. She did. She actually set up a 5-man panel within the EFCC to do preliminary investigation, with which they came out with what they call discrete report. However, the limit of our capacity is to ask them, give us a copy of the report. They didn't give it to us, so we didn't know how to do follow-up.
Okay, can I quickly take our first caller, Samali from Ojud? I've kept him for a while. Good morning, Samali.
Mr. Adeniro, sorry to ask a question. I hope you are not tipping yourself as a spokesman for Mr. Magu.
Try again?
It would have been very bad if Mr. President has gone ahead and retained Mr. Magu as chairman of the EFCC. For the first time, the legislators, that is the Senate, I drop my hat for them.
Okay.
What they did last week. And this something happened, not PDP senators alone or APGA or whatever. The entire Senate rejected this man. There must have been a reason why was it? And I was surprised that Professor Issa Sage said whether this Senate like it or whether Nigeria like it or not, Mr. Magu will retain his post as EFCC. But on the basis of paper today, I'm so happy that Mr. President has set up a Senate to look into it. Especially Mr. Lawal, who said what happened with the Senate was a gamble.
All right, then. Samale, thank you so much. Let me take the question, the first question you asked. Are you not sticking your neck out for Magu? That's the question,
Well,
right?
I am not sticking out my neck, for Magu. What I am saying is that if they have damning reports, against him, indictment of Magu, the DSS is a member of EFCC. He's on the board. The Director General of DSS is a member of the board of EFCC. They have a meeting point. It's like a member of your company investigating your company and coming out, going to external person. The right person to submit the report to is the chief security officer of the country. That is the president. Now, if you didn't submit that report to the president, you didn't submit it to the national security advisor, you now took it to another arm of government to which you are not directly responsible. It will smell some mischief. And the way Magu has explained himself, when he got to the chamber last week, they didn't allow him to defend any of the allegations. They only informed him that there was report against him. That is why we are saying that he deserves fair hearing.
Okay. Mazio Kurafo. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Sam.
Good morning.
That's Comrade Patrick Okoro Krafo. I'm Joe Blue Village. Good morning, our guest, and Mr. Napo.
Morning.
We are talking about this anti-corruption fight. We are sure we are winning. But the question is that now that the lady has failed, I would suggest to the government, let us try the clergy men to head our parastatals, to head all these our departments, both men and women, the clergy men and women. Let us try such people and see what will happen. Because a situation whereby you now carry fish and give somebody and say, keep for you. By the time you come back, he has eaten the fish or for that, he has now created another crime on top of the fish you are going to try. That is the same way it's happening. That you throw somebody, one preacher man was saying this way, even Reverend Father Gotan, and even Father Godfrey. Now, this is a country where if a child will go to the office like Father Grace, go to the office, take their own salary and allowance and leave the rest and not to keep them down. All these problems now, it's not great is what is killing us. Honestly speaking, it is very, very hard for Nigeria to come out from this issue of corruption and stealing. It is greed that is killing people. Tell me, my brother, Mr. Adaboya, stay down here. Every morning you shall your play and crack your play to come here and make sure you present program for people. And somebody sitting there thinking of how to do and accommodate and carry 15 chips. 20 years, I've been in the house for what? 300 million. What are you doing with all this?
Mazi, thank you so much. You've made your point already. You said it's greed.
Yes.
Greed. That's a major problem you have.
There's greed everywhere.
But the greed, okay, let's leave that greed part. Okay. Because some people are saying it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle for a public officer in this country found wanting to even just step aside. What's the big deal for Babachir Lawal to step aside? These allegations are grievous. Or what do you think?
On his own, he might not want to step aside if he thinks that he has grounds of defense.
Everybody thinks, everybody.
But he's on his own. He's the president that who did the needful. And he has said that he should be probed. And that is the best way to go. If the president doesn't have a report that he can hold on to say that this fellow should leave my cabinet.
Is it ideal to order somebody to be probed and he's still in the government?
No. There's nothing wrong in it because anybody can be accused. Okay? Like as you are sitting here, I can accuse you of taking my pen. You are supposed to be given an opportunity of defending yourself that this pen actually belongs to you. So that's because there will be disconnect.
Yes.
If you left the office and they find that the offense was not committed by you after all.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
From Ghana, I have Samuel. Good morning, Samuel.
Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Your contribution, please.
I want to contribute to the program, please. It's high time Nigeria learn to do things right.
Okay.
Let's forget about this corruption is fighting back or something.
if there is a report or accusation, let's check to see if that thing is correct. You see, let's forget PDP, APC. If we want to get it right, this is the time. This embarrassing Nigeria, the world are watching. This national embarrassing cannot help us. Please. You see, it's like the same thing happened to this Falcon girl lady.
The Super Falcons.
Nigeria, we're embarrassing ourselves. The world are watching. This is a national pride.
Yes.
These ladies are stars, Nigerians. Isn't what happened against them? What is this government doing? Let this our president sit up. Because it is high time we correct so many things. Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Samuel. You said it's national embarrassment.
It
What do you
is
think?
national embarrassment. You see, there is something that is going on in the National Assembly that we don't seem to take note of. There is something, if they don't want a debate to go on, there's something they call filibustering. What they are doing is to create that space. They are just engaging in filibustering, knowing that at the end of the day, the argument will amount to nothing.
You think so?
Yes, that is what we saw.
But they are wasting the time of
They are
Nigeria.
wasting
If
the
that's
time of Nigerians.
if that's the situation.
Exactly, they are wasting the time of Nigerians. There have been several people declared in that same chamber that has several crimes, corruption crimes, allegations against them. What did they do about it? I said they are president. The president of the Senate, who doubles as the chair of the National Assembly, is already charged to court with corruption crimes. Okay, what have they done to the log in their own eyes before they look at the speck in the eyes of others? But we are not saying that if their own criminals go scot-free, all criminals should be let loose. That is not what we are saying. But they need moral ground to stand, to say that, look, we are clean, we can assess.
What is sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. Can I quickly take Chukwundi from Ogudu? Good morning, Chukwundi.
Yeah, good morning, my people.
Good morning, sir.
You see, I don't mind a thief catching a thief. I don't mind it. But my problem here is, what moral ground does the Senate president have to tell Babachia to go down, to step down, when he himself, when he was accused, he could not step down. He is still there, and because of that, they have twisted Buhari, and he's no longer being tried, for all I know. That man is no longer being tried today because they have twisted Buhari and tried to make him fair, and Buhari should not allow that. This man should go down. Babachia, he should step down. Let me not take the example of Buhari or Saraki, because Saraki himself is one of them, one of those people who need to be present in this country. So let us not continue to say we shunt it. We shunt it this time, it's not it. Magu must be allowed to do his job, because Magu is the one who has opened the heart of all these people. There are many of them, not only those 10 that are being tried by AFCC, but the whole Senate. I'm telling you, whether they are APC or PDP, they are all the same. They are all there to steal our money. And anybody that tries to stop them is an enemy. That is exactly what is happening to Magu now. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You see, why I agree with them to a very large extent, because when you look at the whole of the National Assembly, they have legislated some huge amounts of money to themselves, perks of offices and other. And any income that was not recommended by the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission is illegal, and all of them could have committed illegality. The question of budget padding is still there. They have not extricated themselves from all of these.
Okay, can I ask one question?
So what moral ground are they standing?
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
Is it because there's sort of a rift in the APC? That is why you have all these allegations coming up. Because, get to look at it, Shehu Sani is a member of the APC. Is the one in charge of this committee, the other committee, and looking at this presidential initiative on the Northeast APC.
Yes.
Your friend, what's his name, Dino Melaye, is a member of the APC. Is it because they are not? Yeah, all of them are your friends. Is it because they are not on the same page with the presidency? That is why. Let me ask you a question. If they are in tandem, they are in good, they have good relationship, Are we going to be hearing all these allegations? Or is it the same thing that happened in the last administration? Because everybody was together. That is why we did not hear anything. Because people will think it's because APC, they have a crack in the wall. That is why we have all this coming out in the open.
Well, you cannot wish all of those insinuations out entirely. But then, I tell you, if you are an anti-corruption person, you cannot be immune from all of these happenings. Because a lot of people who know that if you don't get at them, if they don't have skeletons in their own cupboard, their friends, their cronies they don't want you to succeed. They want to continue to do everything that will derail the fight. That is what you are saying. Now, for Dile Melaye and Shehu Sani, they are poles apart when it comes to their what do you call it? World outlook on the fight against corruption. But then the thing is that the inter-party rivalry is there, and I told you it is actually what do you call it? Legalized by the constitution that says you have to contest on a political party. But the political parties in Nigeria are not based on ideology. If they are not based on ideology, then they will run the government through trial and error. It's like, look, people came from different backgrounds. They have different exposure.
To make APC.
They have different exposure. They have different world view. So some of them engage in primitive accumulation, and they don't see anything bad in it. And that is where the concept of conscience becomes a kind of individualistic thing.
Since you've mentioned it, let's talk about the problem of conscience, but we'll do that after this short break, okay? Do stay with us, please. Welcome back. You're still watching it This Morning on Television Continental. We're still looking at the fight against corruption. Is the president doing enough? And my guest, Debo Adeniro, we've been talking, and before we went to that break, he said the problem we have now is the problem of conscience. And because the last caller that called was talking about conscience also, because who has the justification now to tell someone to resign or step aside? Because he said Saraki cannot tell, what's it called? The other man, Ababacha Lawal, to step down, because Saraki even has got skeleton in his cupboard, according to...
The only institution that is so empowered to ask anybody to step down is the court, the judiciary.
But the conscience, that's where the conscience comes in.
If the president who appointed them didn't remove them, then the court can force them to step down.
What about the conscience? Can I quickly take Jakub and I'll come back to conscience?
That's the problem.
Sorry about that. Jakub is calling from Dokpemu. Good morning, Jakub.
Yeah, good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, sir.
And then good morning to Mr. I forget your name, sir. Sorry, Mr.
Adeniro.
Thank you.
See, Doctor, I'm not surprised that the Senate, entire Senate, reject Magu. I'm not surprised at all, because I expect this thing to happen. How can you expect Senate president as in particular, to make sure that this kind of process goes through? When he knew that this is the person, even if it's infection, when Magu does not even become acting president of anti-corruption agencies. Is this the same man that investigated the Senate president? And then now it's an acting incapacity now. And then you are not telling me that this kind of person will allow the man to pass through. See, therefore, if Mr. President telling Nigeria that he's really in control of this government, I think this is the right time, Mr. President, to let especially Ababacha Lawal in person to resign. But in terms of Magu, Japo, are you telling me Magu is paying the house? They are allegedly said that he was living of how many millions? He does not pay by his pocket. This house is Abuja, something that's given to him. That is number one. Number two, therefore, when you say that somebody sent allegation to Senate president as a DSS, I want to ask, therefore, did this same particular person give it allowed to come and defend himself before the Senate? That this is allegation against you. What do you have to say about it? They did not allow him to defend himself. Now they say that they have rejected him totally. See, therefore, Nigerian citizens should go out. I'm very happy to speak with Sivadenu here. We should come up and protest against this thing because these people want to run this government down. It is Nigerian people we have to take the bull by the horn and tell them that they cannot escape through. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Jacob, because what you're saying, the problem of conscience again, because how can someone steal 1.3 billion meant for IDPs? Number one, it was because they stole some 2-point-something billion dollars. That's why those people are suffering in the IDP camps.
Yes.
Because you were meant to buy arms and protect these people. Some have died, and others are meant they are now in IDP. Now they are still taking their money. Is that not problem of conscience?
Now, there's no universal operational guideline for how conscience work. Conscience is indicated by individuals' experience, and upbringing. Okay. Now, if you are living in a place where people kill each other, where in the city of the cannibals, your conscience will not tell you that you are doing something wrong by eating human flesh.
So you feel it's normal.
So you feel it's normal. If you are brought up by a family of thieves and armed robbers, seeing people killed for their own possession will not prick your conscience.
Can you do me a favor? I don't want to miss this call for anything. It's from offshore. That's Captain Obi. He calls in once in a while. Good morning, Captain.
Yeah, good morning, Debo ID.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, Debo ID too.
Yeah, lovely. Your contribution, please.
Me? Yeah. Okay, I don't want to make a quick one. One is about the National Assembly. Honestly speaking to you, anytime I see the case of Dino Melaya, I continue to weep for this country. Please be it known to you that this National Assembly is the worst National Assembly since inception of this democracy. Then about this anti-corruption, the only thing I would like to contribute is that every serious and right-thinking Nigerian, once you wake up in this morning, we thank this president for coming into power. Otherwise, I don't know where we would have been. Because I'm from Anambra State, Igbo man. But sometime in May, I was in Oka. Honestly speaking, I was in touch with a member of the House, a PDP, I'm not calling his name, but he told me categorically that we were happy for this man coming to power. Otherwise, if the former one has been in power, more than 50% of Nigerians will be scampering for food in those days. Thank
you so much, Captain. That's a big one, because you know what he said again that caught my interest then was the fact that the Senate that we have now is the most corrupt. Or what did he say again?
It is not. It couldn't have. It might not be the most corrupt. It's most exposed because of the kind of government we are running. And it's good for us that even if we are not going to gain anything from the fight against corruption, that we have exposed, all the vistas of corruption is enough.
But it seems they are the one exposing now.
Yes, they have been exposed, so they are also exposing the other side. Now, that is good for us, even if it's the dozer that we can compile. Now, look at Buranta, look at Abakari, look at all of them. Why did they do what they have done? It's because that is what their conscience indicated that, well, they could do it while others die. Okay? Those who wanted to send, troops to the war front without giving them the necessary weapons, Is that not a kind of conscience?
So
now,
they just want to smear everybody.
so they just want to. But basically, what we should do is to develop a national ideology.
That's the people now.
Yes,
Nigerians.
the people should impress it on government that, look, let there be a sovereign national conference where we develop a national ideology that will put upper ceiling into how much acquisition you can make. Because if you acquire, there's no place to hide it, there's no place to spend it, you cannot enjoy it. Why would you want to go ahead and acquire?
Additional.
So, yes.
Additional is on the line. Additional from Ojo. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Dapo.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Dapo.
Good morning, sir. Your contribution this morning.
Here.
Thank you very much for joining us.
The question you asked is that are we winning the war against corruption? Well, in affirmative, I will tell you yes. So far, since the inception of this government, we have seen remarkable progress made, high-profile cases being tried, and cases the EFCC is going after. But it's no doubt, even international committee, we have seen the commitment of the government to fight corruption. But yes, we can see also how corruption is fighting back by all the people coming behind and saying that the government is overstepping its boundaries. But now I want to tell you that during the time of Ribado, we never knew somebody like Magu was in EFCC. And we later gathered from information that there was somebody behind the success of Ribado at that time. And that tells you one thing, that when the institution is strengthened, then you can get 1,000 best in any organization. I want to tell you that if we need to build on institutions, that yes, we want Magu, we all not same person in this world. We have seen it on air and everywhere what Magu is.
Thank you so much, Additional. And that takes us to the conclusion now, because we have some few seconds to go. He said we never knew there was a Magu in the system when Ribado was there. So we have so many Magus. If Magu is seen to be clean, that's what I'm saying. We have so many Magus in the system. A message for Nigerians as we go now towards this fight against corruption. Well,
the message to Nigerians is that they should remember that a people united can never be defeated. We have seen the system disgracing Nuhu Ribadu out of office. Madam Farida Waziri was disgraced out of. Ibrahim Lamode was humiliated out of office. We don't have to allow a Magu to be humiliated. If he needs to leave the office, it has to be true, fair and clean trial that will be seen to have been done with justice in mind, not just judgment. A situation whereby they invited him for screening and he was not allowed to defend any of the allegations against himself is not fair. It's not even in accordance with the rule of natural justice.
So you think corruption is fighting back already?
Corruption has been fighting back since a very long time ago. As a matter of fact, corruption is trying to hijack the government of the day. And that is why you have corrupt elements rearing their ugly heads from all arms of government. And the present executive, led by the president, is dealing with it, from judiciary to the legislature, even to the executive on its own.
But he needs the help of Nigerians.
Right? Indeed, the help of Nigerians. A people united cannot be defeated. We should be united against corruption so that we bring it to his knees.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Comrade Debo Adeniro, Executive Chair, Coalition Against Corrupt Leaders, CACO. Thank you once again.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
And that's our program for today. I want to thank those that have been able to call in. Thank you so much. And tomorrow is another day. Do join us tomorrow. My name is Dakpo Aruwajoye. Bye for now. God bless Nigeria.